What up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Chef. You already know what time it is. It is time for the YAK Pod episode number 5. Now, let's get right to it. We know that the biggest, and I'm not even saying it's arguably the biggest need for the Detroit Lions in this year's draft and free agency period is cornerback. We need a cornerback. We need a lockdown, shutdown, number one cornerback. We need someone who's going to take half of the field and make it obsolete. We need somebody so that we can move Cam Sutton over to the number two slot. Cam Sutton, he had a pretty good season. The first half of the season, he was better. I would say the first 3 quarters of the season. The last quarter of the season, he was dealing with a turf toe injury. A lot of people don't understand that, but look at Deion Sanders, and he's had at least one toe amputated. I think two. That was because of turf toe and dislocated toes and all these things. So when you're a defensive back, as I was, you need your toes, right? You have to push off, backpedal. You have to be able to plant, drive, turn left, turn right. So your toes are very important. So when you're a DB and you have a turf toe injury, that can limit you tremendously. If you look at when Cam Sutton got announced as questionable for a toe injury, look at how he was just a step slow. He looked like he was kind of plodding out there. How he was just kind of picking his feet up and putting them down. No real fluid motion to him. That was when he had his toe injury. I mean, look at Mike Evans. Mike Evans is not a burner, right? Mike Evans is a big body possession receiver. He can beat you over the top, but he's not what you would say fast, right? He's not Tariq Hill. He's not, people like that. But Mike Evans would get into a break, and Cam Sutton just wasn't able to get out of the break and get to him. So he was giving up a lot of catches, a lot of yards to Mike Evans. And we're not going to say that Mike Evans is not a Hall of Famer or anything of this nature, but he was just looking like he was in a completely different class than Mike Evans because of that toe injury. So at the end of the day, Cam Sutton may not be a number one corner, but he's a damn good number two. And so we need someone that's going to push him over to number two. We need someone who's going to be able to follow receivers, the other team's number one receiver. We need someone badly who's going to do that. I mean, the last time we had someone like that, maybe you look at a Darius Slay, and then before that, like I mean, we could say Dre Bly, you know, if we want to say Dre Bly, but then we have to say somebody like Ray Crockett. Like, so it's been few and far between. One person who was definitely not that, and I don't understand why Lions fans still have some affinity for this guy, is Jeff Okuda. Come on now. I mean, we're not even going to get into that. We know Jeff, okay? But anyway, so a name that has been floating around has been Quinyon Mitchell. Kenyon Mitchell is a long, rangy cornerback. He's a senior, so he's definitely coming out into the draft. He's down at the Senior Bowl. He played for Toledo. This guy he's a dog. He's got grit. He's very versatile. He's good in man, press man, off man. He's good in zone. So you can play him in a lot of schemes and a lot of looks, which brings versatility, which is something that we know that Dan Campbell covets, right? He has been mocked to the Detroit Lions at pick number 29. We don't know what's going to happen in the draft, obviously. We don't know what's going to happen in the free agency period. So by the time we get to 29, we may have shored up our CB issues. Maybe not. We don't know. We've got some Kenyon Mitchell highlights, and we've got an interview that was done by Honolulu Blues podcast down at the Senior Bowl. Shout out to them. They do a really great job. So if you haven't seen their podcast before, go ahead and check it out. But let's get into those things right now. So some things that you're gonna notice when you put the tape on, especially the highlights. But he's a very good catcher of the football. He uses his hands to catch the football. He'll use his body if he has to, but he's very good with his hands. He's very good at the point of attack. He's violent at the point of attack, and that's what we need, especially on a Dan Campbell led football team. I know AG is going to put him in situations where he's on an island, so he's very instinctive. He seems to almost run the routes for the receivers. Um, he adjusts to the ball very well. He's very good with his hands. Uh, he's a very good tackler, right? He will wrap up and tackle. Um, all of these things are very important, and these are things that we lack, right? He drives on the football. He's not timid. He's not waiting around. He's trying to jump the route, but he jumps it in an intelligent way. You'll see that if he doesn't have the angle, he's just going to make the tackle or he's going to break the pass up and live to fight another day. He's not taking too many gambles where he's out of position and he allows the receiver to catch the ball and get behind him. So as you'll see in these highlights, nobody has gotten behind him. He's always in front of the receiver. He keeps the things in front of him. When the receiver catches the football, if there's in a zone situation, he's driving down there. I mean, he had one game where he had 4 interceptions. So this guy covers a lot of space, covers a lot of ground, closes the gaps, smothers the receiver. He's very sticky in coverage. So this is someone that I would love to see in Detroit if we have the opportunity to draft him. Now, here he is talking to the guys at the Honolulu Blues podcast at the Senior Bowl, and they asked him what he felt about possibly landing in Detroit. And we'll check out his answers and all the things that he had to say. And I think you'll be pleased.
So Nick Faber with the Honolulu Blues podcast for the Detroit Lions. Okay, I'm here with Quinion Mitchell. Make sure I got that up. So Detroit Lions, one of their biggest necessities, I would say, this year is the defensive back. Now, I'm not sure if you'd even make it to 29. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you get drafted way before that. But if you were to, or if the Lions were to trade up and to grab you, I was curious, what do you personally bring to an NFL team like the Detroit Lions, who just made it, in the top 4? What can you bring to help get them to the next level?
You know what I'm saying? Just coming in and doing what they need me to do. I feel like, in Detroit, they got a good thing going. They got a good, model, stuff like that, I love the head coach, I love what he brings. So just come in and buy in with the guys.
I love that. So you brought up that coach, Dan Campbell, who his motto has been all grit, right? It's just grit. Come in here, do your job. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. Just come in and do your job. Exactly, no excuses. So is that something that you would fit right into, you think?
Oh, yes, sir. I feel like at Toledo, we had that a lot, especially my head strength coach, Coach B, he always hard on us and stuff like that. So no excuses, no complaining, just get to it.
Awesome, dude. So our defense coordinator, Aaron Glenn, former defensive back, awesome coach, right? What do you think, or how do you feel you would be able to fit in with Aaron Glenn? Like, is that something that you would look forward to, working with a great defensive back in his prime now as a coach?
Yeah, I feel like he'll give me, a lot of advice, teach me a lot of things on and off the football field. So I feel like that'll be great.
Do you find yourself like better at man? You're better at zone? Like, what kind of scheme would you find yourself in a better fit?
Whatever you need me to do.
Awesome. I love to hear that.
A lot of man here, some
right.
Zone at Toledo, a lot of off man at Toledo too. So
yeah.
Whatever you need me to do.
Awesome. Now, if the Lions were to get you, or any team at that, like I said, I work for the Lions. If any team were to get you, are you able, do you think, in the NFL to step in day one and just get right to work and get on that starting field day one?
That's the expectation.
That's the expectation. Yes, awesome. I love to hear that. That's all I had for you, Quinn. I appreciate it. Keep killing it. You're doing great, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So that was him. I mean, those are the answers that he had. Hey, he talked about the different schemes that he's played in Toledo. Told us he would be comfortable in pretty much anything. He's very versatile. He can do all the things that they're asking him to do. The thing that I like the most out of what he said was that it was the expectation to be on the field as a starter day one. Um, we don't really know if he can beat out Cam Sutton, but I think a lot of Lions fans believe that he can beat out Cam Sutton because a lot of Lions fans are down on Cam Sutton. As I said, turf toe, very difficult injury to get over, very difficult injury to play with. It could require surgery. Sometimes you have to put in a certain device to keep your toe in place. So it's a lot of things with turf toe, and I'm not a Cam Sutton fan. I'm just letting everybody know that his decline wasn't because he sucks. His decline was because he had a very difficult injury to play with. But anyway, let me know in the comments below, and let's talk about this situation with the cornerbacks. Let me know in the comments below, and let's talk about the cornerback situation. Who do you think would be a good fit in Detroit? Who do you think would be from the free agency crop? Who would be a good fit in Detroit? Should we pay the money? Should we pony up for somebody like a Jalen Johnson? Should we take a gamble on Stephon Gilmore? I say take a gamble because, he's older. He's shown that he can still do it, but sometimes when you're older and you hit that cliff, and you fall right off of it, and there's really no explanation except for your age. So should we take a gamble for him at around 11 million for 1 year? What do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.